We have one more question from XL Hedge here, which is an off-topic one, but he says, since you guys do bring up Toku a lot, what did you think of Power Rangers Mega and/or Super Force? He says he found it to be the worst written, horribly edited piece of waste. Thanks, guys. I didn't watch it. I watched the finale of Super Megaforce because I wanted to see how they would put the big Super Sentai Legend War in there, where they had, every team ever fighting all at the same time. And I like that kind of stuff. I thought that opening part of that movie, that Super Sentai movie, was amazing. So I wanted to see what Power Rangers did, especially after they made all their noise about getting, a handful of original actors who were either Tommy or willing to get horrifically underpaid and get their own ticket to New Zealand. And really the only highlights of that were the what is it? Time Force Red Ranger actor and the Lightspeed Rescue Red Ranger actor were the only things that I really enjoyed out of all that, because the Lightspeed Rescue dude and the Time Force Red guy both have this inherent gravitas where they barely even talked, but they looked like they were the main characters. Way more than Jason David Frank. They looked like they were like grizzled veterans, but were ready for another fight. Jason David Frank just looked a little too pretty boy for me.
Also weird because he's the MMA fighter.
I know, right? Like those other two guys looked like they would get in a scrap and be fine for it. Jason David Frank just looks too pretty for for what he's trying to be.
It's like two Red Ranger fighters and my uncle.
Yeah. And also the Lightspeed Rescue Red Ranger guy ran into a shot. His first appearance, he ran into a shot just randomly wearing a firefighter helmet. And like just his regular clothes and a rescue jacket. I thought it looked kind of funny, but otherwise, like the whole thing just felt like I never saw the rest of this show. I'm just saying what I saw. It was confusing and had the lowest stakes you could possibly ever have for having all these past characters show up. I don't know if either of you guys checked any of this out at all. Like, I didn't watch the show, but did either of you look at it?
I didn't, but for some reason my mind suddenly went to, hey guys, the Krispy Kreme light's on. Everybody go! I'm not quite sure what lower stakes would be to get everybody together.
I did catch I did catch the ending part. Super Megaforce lost me when they decided that the way that they're going to incorporate the Sentai exclusive teams is they just have them.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That was kind of funny because I thought they were going to break the show by trying to write them out of it, but I watched a couple of those YouTube clips of them just turning on these 70s Rangers powers or 80s Rangers powers, and they're just like, yo, new powers, and that was about it.
When I first saw the clips of them doing that, and they just, well, you have powers that have never been seen before. I was like, it took me literally 20 seconds to think of the better way to incorporate that, and it's just
aliens, alien Rangers, more alien Rangers. Boom.
No. No. Well, they got Time Force, right? So they got powers from 1,000 years in the future. All of them are from different times.
That too, but
okay. So Bioman is from 300 years from now.
But it's even simpler, though, to just say, oh, these are the Power Rangers of Venus. Or these are not even real planets. These are the Power Rangers of Biotopia.
Glop, flock.
Yeah, Biotopia, Flash World.
Yeah. Well, that'd make it even better because, I mean, come on.
Planet
Some
5.
of those older...
the old Turbo... the Sentai Turbo Rangers could totally be from Speedia. I would laugh my ass off.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd like the idea of out of... other planets, because some of those early 70s or late 70s, early 80s costumes are pretty rough. What was it? The Jack or whatever.
Jacker. That was the 1972 series, right?
Yeah. Some of those look pretty rough. That at least you'd be like, hey, look. I mean, it'd be hard to tell as it's from the future. I mean, look. We don't tell them, but his costume's on backwards. He's just don't bring it up. Just don't look at him. Don't look. Oh crap! You looked. He's going over here.
They came out.
So we're all Rangers together, huh, buddy? Yeah, you smell.
I would have loved to see Big One on American television in 2014.
Oh my god!
And just try to explain what the hell we're looking at. Because Big One's head is like a cue ball. Sorry, so Jacker was 1977, not 74. I was all wrong. But okay, I'm going to go into some spoilers for that finale now because I do want to lay out what the stakes were of that legendary war. So, maybe skip 5 minutes ahead, and ideally we'll be done by then talking about it. If not, I apologize. If you really wanted to keep your... I found out on Twitter people don't give a flying crap about spoilers for Power Rangers Megaforce, but still, I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so the world is being blown up by the bad guys, right? And the Rangers they're told, like, okay, you got till noon, then we're going to nuke the planet, so enjoy your final night of sleep, human weaklings, blah, blah, blah. So they go to fight the bad guys, and they beat the bad guys. They get onto the bad guy general leader's ship. They use his ship to literally blow up all remaining ships in the bad guy armada, and then they kill the general guy by blowing up the ship with him on it. They have killed him. They have destroyed the evil emperor and all his ships. The fight is over. They're all lying on the ground in the quarry where everything happens in Power Rangers or Sentai or anything, really. And then they just see an army of just the foot soldiers, just the goon, brainless foot soldier robots. And they're like, there are thousands of them. So they're leftover, foot soldiers that were on the ground. Leaderless foot soldiers who literally have no more support, no armada, no fleet, no leadership structure, nothing. They are just the basic drone foot soldier robots. And this new Ranger team are like, we can never fight them all. And that's when all the legendary Rangers show up. So the stakes of this fight are that they are fighting an army of several thousand leaderless, brainless drones that could probably have been taken out with an actual army of just tanks driving over them.
It's not like we have a giant robot lying around or anything.
Furthermore, all these Power Rangers show up in their suits after the big fight with the bad guy has happened. Which just makes you sit there and go, hey, Tommy the Green Ranger, where the flying F were you about 10 minutes ago when these guys were, fighting for their lives against named powerful villain characters, some of whom were on the ground where you were about, it's implied you were literally across town from them at the time. So
look, do you understand the concept of appearance fees?
The stakes of this fight were like kneecapped. And all it did was make all the returning Ranger characters look real suspicious that they didn't show up until it was literally an unlosable fight. And then they show up and go like, yeah, we're going to strut our stuff. And then here's the topper. Tommy shows up, takes his helmet off and is like, we're going to fight together. Puts his helmet back on. They never actually use any footage of the Green Ranger suit fighting anybody, even though they shot new footage for this fight scene. So Tommy shows up, does all the talking, doesn't fight anybody, and then walks up to them afterwards all like, well, we did a real good job, guys. And I'm like, what is this supposed to be telling me about this character right now? So the whole thing was just weird. It's up there on Netflix if you want to see it. That's where I watched it. And it's real weird. And if that is, if that's indicative of what Megaforce was, then I'm pretty glad I didn't watch it. It seems like it was just a frustrating, annoying mess, and I saw a better show already. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else, or we're hitting that 5-minute mark. So
no, I've never watched any of it, so thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few things that are worth watching, like all the New Zealand extras trying to sound American is endearing. Because, you can hear that they're not American, but you can hear them trying their darndest. And they shot some new footage for that big fight scene, because in the movie it's taken from, the Go-Sagers never actually took part in that fight. So they shot footage of the Go-Sagers taking part in that fight, which is weird because, they could turn into the Go-Kaigers, so why wouldn't they use their superpowers for that fight rather than just their normal powers? But that whole thing was weird.